Hey everybody, I wanted to do another one of these videos where I walk through a couple possibilities in terms of looking for a stock to either day trade or swing trade. I'm using Light in the Box. I think they're like an Alibaba competitor. Don't buy the stock just because I'm featuring it. I'm not currently in this stock. It's just one that I'm going to use as my example. So the first thing I would look at is today, right? Whatever the day is, if I'm looking at a chart, I'm looking to maybe see if there's an opportunity to make a quick trade. So I look at a couple different things. The first thing that I look at are these Bollinger Bands, the red, this blue in the middle, and the purple. That was annoying. The red is resistance. It's resisting going to a higher price. The purple is support. It's being supported at that level. And the middle band, this blue one, is the 20-day moving average. When these lines are very far apart, it can mean that there's a rally happening, as you can see here. We're on the upside of this trend, and as long as the stock doesn't break this 20-day moving average, you could, in theory, hold the stock and see where it goes. The other option would be noticing that it has hit overbought territory right around here, and this maybe is where you would want to sell. You've got options, is my point. You can either lock in your gains here, or you can say, hey, like as long as we're trading on this positive territory, it might bounce off of this 20-day moving average over and over and over. Let's see. Uh-oh, it's reversing course. I'm locking my gains in here. I'm going to get out. I personally use the relative strength index to gauge whether to get in or out of a trade. I would most likely have exited somewhere around here had I purchased at one of these multiple breakouts. Now, what I like, this is the previous day. This is yesterday. What I like about this setup here is that we've got multiple breakouts to the upside and continue in coordination with humongous volume. So this is positive to me. I like that we are breaking out multiple times. I like that we are staying above the 20-day moving average. And I like that when it hits oversold, that's a good point to consider getting out of the trade. If you want to see where it goes and maybe hope that it keeps bouncing higher and higher, this could be your point of exit. Or you could even say, you know what, I'm going to hold it all the way down and see if it breaks the support line. If it breaks support, then I'm out, because that's a real indicator. These are all, it could. When it crosses this one, usually it's a signal that it definitely is in a downtrend. But on the other hand, look at what you've wiped out in terms of potential profits. If you were to pick up, say, 1,000 shares at, let's just make the math easy, 350, which would be right around here. Oh, you know what? I could have just looked here. I'm like an idiot. If you had purchased in at around $3.50, I'm just only using that to make the math easy, and you sold up here at 404, you would have made $500 and something, as opposed to selling here where you would have made $300 and something, 300 and whatever. So it really is your personal risk tolerance, your personal preference. Now moving on to today, what I would look for is it to enter oversold territory, which is down here on the relative strength index. It doesn't do that. And even though it does have a quick bounce from, say, 362 to 380, that's around 100, that's an 18-cent gain. So if you're trading 1,000 shares, it's around 180 quick bucks. If you were to do a scalp like this, it would have to be a very quick trade. You wouldn't necessarily be scalping something with the hope of holding all day. You would be looking for a very quick bounce. The reason I wouldn't have made a scalp trade here is because we didn't get into oversold territory. So you're just kind of guessing. And you're also guessing on when to exit because we are in the middle of relative strength index. There's no indicators one way or the other. So what I would be doing is waiting for the stock to enter oversold position or oversold territory before considering making an investment or a trade. Now, you don't just make the trade because it's oversold. You also look at the volume. You can enter oversold and have very weak volume, which indicates to me that this stock might not be recovering or having a turnaround. It could hang out in oversold territory, in theory, all day. So as I'm looking at this chart right now, nothing is jumping out to me as making me want to making it look like a worthwhile trade. The only positive thing is that these bands are now consolidating, right? So this is indicating that we are in the middle of some large trading range. Same with this one. But on downtrends, on uptrends, if you're in the stock, these very wide Bollinger Bands can be fine as long as you're riding the positive side of that momentum and you jump out when all the indicators are telling you it's time to go. Lock in your gains, get out. When it's in negative territory, it's the reverse, right? We're waiting for a point of entry. We don't have that. What we do have, though, are that the bands are consolidating. So the trading range is narrowing significantly, which indicates that if there is a breakout, it could be potentially quite strong, and it could be to the upside or to the downside. We don't know. One option is, of course, to watch this 20-day. If the stock is trending above the 20-day, moving closer to the resistance line, that's this red line, it's a potential indicator that it could be in the a breakout could be in the works. You also want to look at volume. Just because it's over the 20-day and is steadily moving higher, if there's weak volume, maybe the traders who are watching this, the algorithms, the systems who are watching are going, not enough interest, not enough momentum. I'm going to sit this one out. So likely what I would end up doing today is sitting this stock out and saying, you know what, there are just no trades. That doesn't mean that I'm done with this company, though. The next thing I like to do is I like to go up here to my time frame, and I like to jump back a little bit. So the first thing I do is I click on the 10-day chart, and I want to gauge where we are in terms of support and resistance, previous support and resistance lines. So what this is telling me is that this area right here might be its last level of support, where it was trading kind of sideways here. We've got another one here. So one of the things you can do is you can right-click, add drawing, and draw one of these price lines right around here. So I can say to myself, this stock is not yet oversold. It might get oversold. It might get down to this previous level of support. Now, I'm not going to be sitting here watching this over the next several days or maybe even weeks waiting for it to get to this level. I got other things to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to right-click on it, and I'm going to hit Create Alert with Drawing. And I'm going to say, when it crosses below this line, alert me. Now it turns yellowish. There's an alert set on my phone as well, so I can walk away from this stock. I can trade other things. I can go put in my laundry. I can go to the grocery store. I can go to the pool. I can do whatever I want. I'm going to get an alert when this stock gets to this price. You can also, of course, set them for resistance, breakouts to the upside as well. But if I'm looking at this stock going, I think it's reversing course, I think it's heading lower, I'm not going to do that. Next thing I like to do is I like to jump back even further. I go to the 20-day chart, and I like to see where we are. And this seems like right here is a level of support where it kind of gets to support, kind of gets to support, gets to support. So I'm going to draw another trend line here. And again, you right-click, and you just put it on the bottom, boom, boom. And again, I will set another alert, Create Alert with Drawing, crosses below, create. Now I've got my two alerts set on my screen. If I wanted to go further back, I could go to the 180-day chart and say, okay, this definitely looks like a support level here in the $2.20, in the $2.20s range. So again, right-click, put a line here, boom. Now I've got my 3 levels of support. These are potential entry points for me. You can set alerts to all of these. You can set alerts to some, and it gives you a gauge of where you think you might be able to buy this stock if it touches support and doesn't break through. If it breaks through, you wait for it to get to the next level of support, and so on and so on. Also using it in coordination with relative strength index, with your Bollinger Bands. You want to be paying attention to the volume. When it's time then to make a trade, so let's say it hits our support level. I want to jump into the daily chart, and I want to look now at the relative strength and try to get the best price possible. You'll never time the markets. You'll never time the bottom. You'll never get in at the best price. But I like to kind of see what I can do in terms of maybe getting the best price instead of just buying randomly because it hit my support. Then I like to jump over to the daily chart. You can also, jumping back now, let's just go to the 120-day chart. Now you're wondering, okay, where do I sell this stock? Where could it potentially get to? Well, we've got one level of resistance, which is right around here at around $4.12. So we can add a drawing right around here. Add drawing. And we're going to put it right there. Whoops. Why isn't it going? And then we can do another one up here. I mean, we can do them all over the place. Here's one, here's one, here's one. Let's just do the most recent ones, though. We'll right-click, add drawing, and we'll let it go right here. Now, these are our buying opportunities. This is where we would consider buying. These are the various support lines. These are resistance lines. I don't want to confuse myself. So what I like to do is I like to go in and edit the properties and change the color. So green, for example. So we got a couple of different entry points here. It could potentially get to previous support of around 330, previous support of around 296, and a previous support of 223. These are where we would consider buying based on volumes, and these are where we would consider selling based on its previous highs. Of course, there are no guarantees, and of course, you also want to be looking at the relative strength index on the daily chart. You also want to have a plan, a goal. What price point am I going to enter? What price point am I going to exit? How much do I aim to, we can calculate it right now. Let's just do it. Let's just do it and calculate out what we expect to make roughly. Let's say we get in here at around 332 and that's where it stops off. So let's just say hypothetically we buy it at 332 and we sell it at 406. 406 minus 332 is a difference of 74 cents. If we have 1,000 shares, we've made $740. Now, it could take days, it could take weeks. This would likely be a swing trade. So I can say, generally, if I were to purchase the stock at around 330, if it hits support and then holds steady, doesn't break below, I can enter around 330, and I can sell at around $4.06-ish, and make around $700. Now, maybe in the day when I'm actually getting ready to sell, we're not anywhere near 406, but we've already entered oversold territory. It looks like the volume is slowing. Maybe you have a $500 profit. Maybe you have a $600 profit. It's not your exact goal of 740, but it's close enough. And I base it off of the charts and the volume and the technical indicators, or the technical analysis and my indicators. And then maybe I say, I'm out. Maybe I sell half my position at $4 and hold the other half to see where it goes. It also is based on, news, economic data. If this stock has earnings that are very strong, maybe it could push higher. It looks like their earnings are going to be coming out sometime soon. So if the earnings are favorable, the stock could really rally. I don't like trading into earnings. It seems mostly like a gamble. You're depending on too many unknowns. You just don't know how that company is going to do. So what I might do trading into earnings, knowing that they're coming up soon, is if I did manage to pick it up here and it did get up to my target price, I would consider locking in the majority of my gains and YOLOing the rest just to see what happens. For example, if I had 1,000 shares, I might sell 800 and go, hey, let's just see what happens with my last 200 shares. Maybe it gets up to $6. Great. If it doesn't, I'm going to cut my losses at around 3 to 5% as it's going down. And you always want to have your exit strategy planned out. You always want to know, yes, I'm getting in at 334 or 330. What is 3% of that? What is 5% of that? That's where I'm going to cut losses and call it a day and find another stock to trade. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope these walkthrough videos are helpful. Just to show you how I do it, I bounce around from a couple different things. You could potentially day trade. Look, here we go. We've got a breakout to the downside right now. This is happening in real time. I haven't checked this. Look, breakout, downside. The volume is kind of meh. But we're going to now watch the stock and see what happens. Maybe it gets into oversold territory, and then the volume upticks pretty strong, and it has a bounce. If that happens, I might make a quick trade. Where could it get to? I don't know. 340s? Potentially 340s? Maybe 330? If the selling is sudden and dramatic and it drops. It looks not, though. It looks very weak on the volume on all sides today. Anyway, that wasn't part of this video. It just happened that it broke out to the downside, so there we go. I like to jump around. I like to get a lot of different strategies, all from one stock. I like to think maybe I can day trade this. Maybe I can get a swing trade. Let me go further back. Let me go as far back as I can go and plot out all these support and resistance lines and have ideas of vaguely, roughly how much I might be able to make, where I might be able to enter based on this previous supports, where I might be able to sell based on previous resistance, and have ideas. And then, of course, like I said, these are all, I have alerts set up on all of these price points. My phone will go off, so maybe I'm looking at a different stock. Maybe I've completely forgotten about this stock, and a week later or a month later, it hits one of these support lines. Ding, my phone's going to buzz, and I'm going to hop on and I'm going to take a look at the chart and see where we are. So anyway, hope this video was helpful. Hope you learned something. If you did, please like, please subscribe. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.